Yes. So today's topic of discussion is reproduction in plants. So before I start this topic, I would like to ask you people what is reproduction? Do you have any idea what is reproduction? So reproduction is it is made up of two words, reproduction. Re is again and again and again and production to produce something. Okay. So to produce what? To produce young ones alike. So every living organism on this earth produce their own kinds to maintain the continuity of life. So after the death of that particular organism, their offspring can maintain the continuity of species. So that's why reproduction is a very important thing and it is the essential quality for anything to be considered as living being. Okay. So this diagram I have given it this diagram as the introductory pic because when we talk about reproduction and if we don't specify which kind of reproduction we are talking about, then it is sexual reproduction only. And this flower is the sexual reproductive organ of a plant. So we will come to this diagram later. First of all, let's discuss type of reproduction. Okay. So basically there are two types of reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is when only single parent is involved. Two parents are not involved. Okay. Yes, good everybody. Your answer is correct. Lakshya Sharma, Abhinav Garg, Lakshya Bhardwaj, Arushi. Very good. Okay, so asexual reproduction is when only single parent is involved. Two parents are not involved and no gamete formation is there, nothing is there, no specific reproductive structure form. Okay, so that kind of reproduction is known as asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is again divided into many subcategories. These subcategories are fission, fragmentation, spore formation, budding, and vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is a special type of asexual reproduction in plants. Some author may consider it as a third category in the reproduction of plant. They may divide reproduction in plant into three main categories: asexual reproduction, vegetative propagation, and sexual reproduction. But actually, vegetative propagation is one of the subtype of asexual reproduction only. So I am including it under asexual reproduction only. Okay. So first of all, we will start with fission. So binary fission. Binary means two and fission means breaking. Okay, so when a cell breaks down into two daughter cells, so this kind of simple reproduction or division is known as binary fission. So this binary fission we can see in bacteria. So this is a bacterial cell and this is to start with binary fission, the very first step is to replicate its DNA. Replicate means to make its own copy. So DNA of yes, Abhinav, amoeba is also an example of binary fission. You are right. But since we are talking about reproduction in plant, that's why I have not included amoeba here. Okay, understood? Amoeba is not a plant. Okay. So, the very first step is to replicate the DNA. DNA has a capacity to make its own copy. So, very first bacterial DNA make its own copy. So now this mother DNA, mother bacterial cells has two DNA. Now slowly this cell start elongating, and after elongation it start grooving, and this groove increase in size, and ultimately this parent cell divided into two daughter cells. Okay, like this. So one at the end of this process, we get two daughter cells from one parent cell of bacteria, and since only one parent is included here, and no, not any specific structure is formed for reproduction. That's why this is a type of asexual reproduction. Okay, clear this binary fission, everybody? Any confusion in this? Okay, okay. Then the next is fragmentation. So fragmentation literal meaning is to break down into small fragments. Okay, so the very good example of the fragmentation is Spirogyra. Okay, Spirogyra is a very simple algae, although it is multicellular, but no two cells are interdependent on each other. No two cells are interdependent. All the cells are independent. Okay, so Spirogyra, since although it is a multicellular algae, but it is at cellular level of organization. What is cellular level of organization? When we read about the body organization, we read many body organization like cellular level, tissue level, organ system level. Okay, so this Spirogyra is at cellular level, the simplest level organization where two or whatever cell it is consist of, all the cells are independent. All the cells perform their function on their own. Yes, so I was saying that no two cell in the Spirogyra are interdependent on each other. Every cell is independent. So since this alga is an aquatic alga, so whenever it strike to any stone or anything, or due to any accident, due to heavy water current, it divides. If it divides into two or more pieces, each and every piece start living as a new alga. Okay, so this kind of division, when parent algae divides uh, due to any accident or due to any outer force into two or more fragments, each and every fragment start living life as a new organism. This this kind of division is known as fragmentation. Yes, each piece is alive, Lakshya Sharma. Each fragment will be alive. Okay, any confusion in fragmentation in Spirogyra? Okay, so next type of asexual division is spore formation. We generally see spore formation in the fungus. That doesn't mean that it the only take place in the fungus, but fungus mostly reproduce by spores. Many other plants also reproduce by spores, like pteridophytes are there. They also reproduce by spores. Even algae also reproduce by spores. But the main mode of reproduction, this spore formation, is in fungus. That's why I have given here the example of a fungus. So here I have given the example of a bread mold. All of you must have seen this bread mold one or other time in your life. Okay, so how does this bread mold spread? First of all, let's see which or what are the parts of this bread mold. So this bread mold, fungus body is made up of very fine thread like structure. This body, thread like body, is known as mycelium. Okay, from this mycelium, l- roots like structures which penetrate down in the bread or any other substrates uh, arises. These root like structures are known as rhizoids. Okay, these horizontal hyphae, one single thread of the mycelium is known as hyphae. So the horizontal hyphae of this bread mold body or other fungus, it is known as stolon. Then some hyphae got erected, vertically erected, and there apex got swollen. So these vertical hyphae are known as sporangiophore, the hyphae that bear sporangia. Sporangiophore mean the hyphae that bears sporangia. The swelled tip, round swelled tip, it is known as sporangium. And this sporangium is filled with small spores. So whenever these spores get matured, they ruptured in the outer environment, and they were when they get a proper substrate to germinate, they germinate on the proper substrate and then give rise to again the same structure. So this kind of reproduction is known as sporulation. Is it clear? Sporulation, is it clear to everyone? Sporulation. Okay. The next is budding. So in budding, we give the example of yeast. Yeast is a single celled fungus. Okay. And yeast is mostly used in baking industry. Okay. So yeast majorly reproduce by the process of budding. In budding, there is a small outgrowth starts on the body of yeast, which get a small part of nucleus. Then slowly it grows in size, and finally it detach from the parent E cell and live life as a separate organism. But sometime it happens that without getting detached from the parent cell, the that bud yeast, the daughter yeast, start give rise to the new buds, and it eventually forms a big chain like structure. This chain like structure is known as budding chain. Okay. Baking soda is a chemical dakshita. Yeast is a fungus. Don't don't compare baking soda with yeast, please. Yes, Lakshya. Okay. So this process is known as budding. Is it clear to everyone? Hmm. So this is all about the asexual reproduction in plants. Now the next topic is vegetative propagation. So what is vegetative propagation? See, plants body is divided on the basis of reproduction in two types of parts: vegetative part and reproductive parts. Vegetative parts are those which forms the plant body, like root, stem and leaf. They have their own function. Like root function, in the previous chapter only we have discussed that root's function is to absorb water and minerals. Stem function is to conduct water and mineral toward the leaf, also to give the mechanical support to the plant, and to yeah, and leaf function is to photosynthesize the food, to perform photosynthesis and prepare food for the plant. So neither leaf nor stem nor root has the function of reproduction, because the in the starting of this chapter only I have told you that the reproductive organ of a plant is a flower. Flower is the reproductive organ. Okay. So when other body part other than a flower, whether it is leaf, stem or root, start giving rise to the new plant, this type of reproduction is known as vegetative propagation. The correct uh, term for this is propagation and not reproduction. Okay. So this vegetative propagation is basically of two types: natural and artificial. Natural, when the plant naturally propagate vegetatively, either by stem or by root or by leaf. And artificial, when human human influences in the vegetative propagation through cutting, grafting, layering or tissue culture. So we will discuss one by one. We will start with the stem. So natural vegetative propagation by stem. And to be very precise, I should call it by underground stem. Okay. So plant underground stem is of four types: tuber, bulb, rhizome, and corm. Example of tuber is a potato. Example of bulb is an onion. Example of rhizome is the ginger. An example of corm is colocasia. Okay, so all of you have seen this potato in your kitchen, and you know this potato has small depression all over its skin, which are also known as eye. So eye is actually the nodes of tuber. Okay, so when this potato is left for few days and it gets moisture, small buds start coming out of its eye, out of its node. And if this bud cut from this potato and gets sown in the soil, it gives rise to the new potato plant. So this kind of vegetative propagation is known as vegetative propagation by the tuber of potato. Likewise, bulb, onion. Onion is a bulb in which center is the stem part of the onion, and the purple surrounding layers, these are the scaly fleshy leaves. Okay, and then brown color fibrous structure, these are the adventitious root in the structure of a onion. So onion also germinates when it is kept for few days. Okay, and it give rise to a green stem. So when it is also sown under the soil, it give rise to the new plant. Likewise, rhizome of ginger and corm of colocasia. So this is how underground stem helps in the vegetative propagation. Adventitious roots. Lakshay, when we study the reproductive sexual reproduction, I will tell you that when a seed germinates, it gives rise to a plumule and a radicle. The very first thing which emerge out from a seed is a plumule and radicle. Plumule give rise to the stem and radicle give rise to the root. So the root which forms from radicle is known as a taproot. But other than radicle, from the basal node of the stem, some root-like structure comes out. Okay, it is not formed out of radicle. It is forming from the basal node of the stem. So these fibrous structures are known as adventitious root. Understood, Lakshay? Okay. So is it clear? Vegetative propagation by underground stem. Is it clear, all of you? Okay. The next slide is vegetative propagation through roots. Okay. So there are some tap root which get swollen to store the food. Example is sweet potato root. Okay. So when these roots give rise to the new plant, young plant, adventitious buds, these roots are known as this kind of propagation is known as vegetative propagation by roots. An example is sweet potato. Clear? Next is by leaf. So this is the diagram of a bryophyllum leaf. Bryophyllum leaf has the typical structure. Its margin are cut into notches, and from each notch a small bud, a small plantlet start arising. When this plantlet fall down on the earth, it give rise to the new plant. Okay, so this is the bryophyllum is the example of vegetative propagation by leaf. So here natural vegetative propagation over, and now we will discuss about artificial vegetative propagation. Any confusion up to here in natural vegetative propagation? Yes, Prayag. From leaf, the new buds start arising in bryophyllum. S- Everything else is clear up to here? So now we start with artificial vegetative propagation. Artificial vegetative propagation is when human interfere in vegetative propagation. So very first example is cutting. Cutting, I would like to give you example of rose. All of you have must grow a rose plant by cut a branch of rose. When you cut a branch of rose which has at least one node, one internode and some leaves, and when you sow this branch in the sand, ultimately it gives rise to new roots and it starts living life as a new plant. So this is the example of cutting. Grafting. Grafting is actually a process of mixing the characteristic of two different plants, in which we take two parts of two different parts. One part, one of one plant we take the upper part, and of other plant we take the down part which contains roots. So the part of plant which contain roots is known as stalk and the upper part is known as chyan. We connect chyan and stalk in a manner that xylem coincide with xylem and phloem coincide with phloem, so that the water transport and food transport does not get hindered. And we tie this with the help of polythene bag or anything, any cloth or anything, and we leave it for some time. After some time we find that this plant attaches, the chyan attaches itself to stalk, and the entire plant have the characteristic of both the plants, the characteristic of chyan also and the characteristic of stalk also. Yes, hibiscus to get different color of plant. Very good, Krishna. And money plant is also the example of cutting. Very good, Krishna. Okay, so this is the process. This process is known as grafting, to mix the characteristic of two plants in a single plant. Okay. Layering. Layering is the process which is used to grow the plants which have either very soft under branches or in the air only. So layering is basically of two type: mound layering and air layering. In mound layering, the soft under branch is bent and covered with soil. Okay. After some time, the part which has been covered with soil give rise to the new roots, and this branch start uh, living life as a new plant. So initially you need not to cut the branch, so that uh, this branch get water in intact water supply, and it does not die. But eventually when it gets its own roots, we cut it from here, and this plant live life as its own, on its own. In air layering, we remove some part of phloem of the branch. Xylem is kept intact. Why xylem is kept intact? So the leaves could get the proper supply of water. And then this part is covered with moist soil and then covered with polythene to retain the moisture. After some time, we will notice that this part start giving rise to the roots. When this part start giving rise to the roots, we cut this plant from here and we sow it in the soil, so that this branch can start living life individually, independent. Okay, so this is layering. Micropropagation or tissue culture. This process happens in the lab. Okay, in under the surveillance of very technical persons. Okay, a normal person like me and you, we cannot perform this, although I can perform this because I have performed this in the lab in my higher studies, but a normal person cannot perform this. Okay, so this tissue culture is basically, it is a process of give rise to many plants with the help of a meristematic tissue of a plant. In previous chapter I had given you a little revision about the plant tissues, and I told you that plant tissue basically divided into two types: meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is the only tissue which keeps on dividing in the plant, and it is present on the apex, on the tip of root, and on the tip of shoot. So we can take the tip of root, meristem of tip of root. This meristem of tip of root is known as explant. It has a higher capacity to divide. So this explant is then transferred in the nutrient media. Why it is transferred in the nutrient media? So that it keeps on dividing and dividing and dividing. So soon it starts dividing and forms an undifferentiated mass of plant cell. This undifferentiated mass of plant cell is known as callus. This callus is then transferred to another medium, plant hormone medium, so that differentiation take place, and after differentiation it it differentiate into root, stem and leaf, and small plantlets start arising. Okay, each plantlet when again transferred to the soil, they give rise to the new plant. So this whole process is known as tissue culture or micropropagation. Why we call it micropropagation? Because it happens at very micro level. We just take a small part of the plant, and from a small part of the plant we can get hundred of plants. And why it is known as tissue culture? Obviously the same reason. We take tissue, meristematic tissue, and then we culture hundred of plant from the small part of meristematic tissue. That's why it is known as tissue culture. Tissue culture is the growth of tissue or cell in artificial medium. Very good, Dakshita. Thank you for specifying in the technical terms. So, is it clear? Tissue culture is clear. So, there are some advantages and disadvantages of vegetative propagation. What are the advantages of vegetative propagation? So true to type means only single parents is involved here. There is no mixing of genetic characteristics. So each of offspring is a clone to its parent. It is exactly same to its parents. And this is sometimes considered to be as disadvantage because there is no variation in the plant. So if parent plant is having some or other disease, that disease will directly transfer to the um, young plants also. Okay, then uniformity, each will be exactly the same. Then the only way to reproduce sterile varieties like Vitis vinifera, Thompson seedless. So and banana also, banana and other plant, rose and orchids. Okay, so banana they don't have viable seeds, rose they don't have viable seed, orchids to grow an orchid seed it takes 7 years to germinate an orchid seed. It takes 7 years. Okay, so this kind of plants easily grown by vegetative propagation in a small time. Then speed of maturity is much quicker. Ability to adapt plant to the environment using rootstock choice. uh, so a plant is adapted to already adapted to the environment. What are the disadvantage? So monoculture are susceptible to disease, as I told you, since there is no variation. So the clones are susceptible to the same diseases which parents are facing. Then cost, sometimes cost is required, not in all type of vegetative propagation, but propagation through tissue culture, it is a very costly method. Okay, and also required a skilled labor. You or a normal person cannot perform this tissue culture on their own. Then this time, actually this point is not correct, so just leave this point. Gradual loss of juvenility unless care of parent plant is very skilled. So you don't find a new plantlet, since all the parent plant's part only give rise to the new plant. Then a smaller volume generate, but not not for tissue culture. Only smaller volume can be generated. If you talk about seeds, so seeds are generated in the large amount, but if you propagate the plant through vegetative propagation, smaller number of plants can be generated, but it is not valid for tissue culture, since in tissue culture you can generate even more where if you compare with the sexual reproduction. Okay, so this is all with this today's topic.